Welcome back! In this video, we are going to conclude the ProJourn exercise with a scenario analysis of more than two changing variables. We can find the instruction for Part 2G on page 7 of our reading material. Here in page 7, we specifically need to be aware of the constraint of the different variables. When you have more than two variables changing at the same time, there will be many possible solutions. And in order to avoid getting unrealistic solution from Excel, we need to specify what are the limit or constraint that is not realistic. For example, the suppliers would not give the products to you for free. So you would expect that they would at least charge about 36% of your sales revenue. And also, you would cut your promotion expenses, but you will still want to keep it maximum of 12%. And the commissions, you cannot reduce the commission below a certain threshold. For example, 23%, or you will lose employees. It is very important to translate this constraint into mathematical operations. So the mathematical operation for not lower than 36% or for cost of goods sold will be translated into greater or equals to 36%. For promotion percentage not to exceed 12%, it will be translated into less than or equal to 12%. For commissions, no less than 23%, it will be greater or equals to 23%. So it's important to work out this constraint before we get into the solver command. The second thing you need to be aware of is the availability of the solver command on your computer. If this is the first time you use solver in Excel, you may not be able to find this command, and you will need to install it. The installation command is listed here, step 1 to 5. Here is the installation step, which is File, Options, and look for add-ins. In the add-ins, if your solver add-in is somewhere here in this section, that means you need to activate it, and you have to click in the solver add-in and click Go. Excel add-in and click Go and click OK. Since I already activated, my solver add-in is in the active application area. The result of your installation will be reflected in the fact that when you click on the Data Command tab, you will be able to find the solver command at the far right-hand corner. You need to install the solver command only once, and every time you use the same device, you'll be able to use that command. And now, for the remainder of the video, we are going to follow the solver procedures to complete our analysis. To do the Part 2G, we need to duplicate Part 1 into a new part and label it as Part 2G. In Part 2G, we are going to focus on the three factors or variables that can be changing at the same time. So I highlight it for you to be aware of these variables. And so that also, if your worksheet is being passed on to your team at the workplace, your team member will be easily be able to follow your templates and use it. To start our solver command, we choose Data and the far right hand corner solver. Once we once we select solve a command, we will be able to fill in the dialog box. For the objective, we are going to input the formula for our average net income, because we want to get our average net income to the value of $8,000, for example. And here, by changing the cell, we can select the cell to be changed, and these are the cells that we would be using, D19 to D21. Once we enter this, we have a box to enter our constraint. So the constraint that we have put in before, we can add a constraint. The first constraint is the cost of goods sold. For the cost of goods sold, we would like to have it larger or equals to 36%. So 36%. And we add another cell reference, this time promotion percentage, D20. We would like to specify is lesser or equals to 12%. The third factors we add will be commissions. If we highlight commission, the cell is D21. And we would like to set it larger or equals to 23%. And we click OK. Now we have entered the three factors, and make sure that we have specified the correct value of constraint and the direction of the limit. And at this point, we are all set to, or maybe we can add a constraint of to 8,000, but it's not too necessary. So at this point, we can click Solve. With the default model, we would like to get a report on the answers so that we can investigate the solutions. And we would like to keep the solver solution, which is right now showing in the background of our Part 2G. So we click OK. Now this is a solution. Excel will be able to achieve, recommend that you will be able to achieve an $8,000 if you use 39% cost of goods sold, 12% promotion, and 25% commissions. And since we have asked for an answer report, we can look at the answer report. And here is something that we would like to learn, which is the status of the constraint. It says binding, not binding, binding, not binding. That means binding means that it has the answer has reached the limit of its constraint. For example, it reached the limit of $8,000, a value of $8,000, and the promotion percent was also reaching its limit. There are room for more increase in average net income in the not binding status. The cost of goods sold can go lower, and also the commissions can go lower. And that will give you a clue. Maybe you would like to try another round of solver raising the value of the average net income. But basically, we have performed a solver command with Part 2G. In conclusion, we have effectively performed a solver command supporting simultaneous changes of two or more than two variables to get a target answer. Excel will support up to 200 variables to be changed at the same time, but this will not be what we will be using in our exercise or exam. This concludes our exercise on ProJourn, and if you have any questions, please feel free to go back to any of the videos to replay them and try it on your own and compare your exercise answers or practice answer with the posted answers. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And in the meantime, enjoy with refreshments and nourish yourself.